Hi, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Mr. Williams, and I'm here to teach our first math lesson. It's scheduled for Tuesday, April 28th, 2020. So let's go ahead and get started. So, with our first lesson, one thing that we want to go back and review is something that we actually haven't gone through in second grade yet, and those are shapes. Shapes. And what I want to do is review some things about shapes. So, shapes have two very important pieces. Our first piece are sides, and sides are the pieces of the outside of the shape that gives the shape its shape. And our sides look something like this. So it's kind of hard to see some of my arrows here, but we have an arrow pointing to the side here, but an arrow pointing to the side here, and here, and here as well. And now all of these shapes have a different number of sides. Some shapes have no sides, and we're going to get to that in a little bit. There's some shapes that have 4, 5, even 6 sides. We also have some shapes that have 3 sides. So we have a shape with 4 sides, 3 sides, 6 sides, and 5 sides up here. Okay, and we're going to get a little bit more into that in just a little bit. Now we also have this thing called vertices. Now vertices are where 2 sides come together and they make a point or a corner. Now these points are on any shape except for a circle, because a circle does not have any sides. So if you look at my arrows here, again, they're kind of hard to see, but our vertices are here, 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 here. And if you look, it's where 2 sides come together. Okay? Every shape has a vertice. So in the packet that you received, there is an activity that looks at something very similar to this. I'll give you a little time to get to that and find it. It's technically under grade 1 if you're still looking for it. Okay, now we have all sorts of different shapes up here. Different sizes, different sides, different vertices. And down here we have a little key to help us figure out what color our shapes are going to be. Now, I colored mine a little bit differently. But what I want you to do is I want you to take a look. Now down here we have 0, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And these numbers correlate or go together with the number of sides that each of these shapes have up here. Now, there are at least one of each. So each of these shapes are going to be colored either green, blue, orange, red, or brown. Now, if one of our shapes does not have any sides, so 0, you're going to go ahead and color it green. If our shape has 3 sides, 1, 2, 3, you're going to go ahead and color it blue. If it has 4 sides, you're going to go ahead and color that one orange. If it has 5 sides, you're going to go ahead and color it red. And if it has 6 sides, you're going to go ahead and color that one brown. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you just a little bit of time, give you about 2 minutes or so, to go ahead and take a look at our shapes. Take some time, review what you see up there. Some of them you might be familiar with. Some you might have never seen before. That's okay, because we're going to talk about some of that. But I'm going to give you a little bit of time to go ahead and look over our shapes here. And in about 2 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go and review our shapes and what shapes have what sides and what colors they should be. All right, go ahead. Now remember, as you're looking at your shapes, what I want you to focus on is how many sides. We're not going to focus on the vertices, okay? We're just looking at our sides. So you want to count how many sides, how many straight lines each shape has, okay? Now, you get that word, straight lines, okay? Now there's one shape up here that does not have any straight lines. Hopefully you're going to be able to find it. Point that one out. Give you about another minute or so to go ahead and take a look at our shapes and see if you can get them all colored in right. All right, that wasn't quite 1 minute, but we're going to go ahead and go over our color or our shapes and colors. So what I want to look at is I'm going to look at our shapes with 0 sides. I'm going to go through. I'm going to look. Now, I see a lot of shapes with a lot of straight lines. But I see one in particular that doesn't quite have any straight lines. Did y'all find it? That's right. Our circle. Our circle does not have any straight lines. Therefore, it has no sides and it doesn't have any vertices. Okay? So I hope that you found that one and you colored that one green. Oh, so sorry. Some technical difficulties. There we go. So I hope you colored that one green. Now, as I said before, my coloring is going to be a little bit different than what you have, but I went and took our key down here and put a green border around it so you can see it nice and big. Now, moving right along, we're going to look for any shape that has 3 sides. Now, most of these are going to be called triangles. Actually, all of them. Our triangles have 3 sides, okay? Did you find them all? I hope so. There's quite a bit. So we have 4 triangles. And one up here, one down here, one right here, and one right here. Now, if you look, our triangles are a little bit different, each of them, because some of them have longer sides, some of them have shorter sides. Some of them have different shapes and angles, which we're not going to quite get into angles yet. But I want you to notice and see how there's a little bit of a difference between each of these triangles. Okay? Now, on to our 4-sided figures. Now, a lot of the times we think of rectangles or squares, but the thing is, although rectangles and squares do have 4 sides, there are other shapes that have 4 sides. Did you find them all? There's a lot of these too. So we have a lot of 4-sided objects. So we have one up here, one right here, one right here, one right here, here, and here. If you go back and look, some of these don't look like squares or rectangles, like this one and this one, even this one, because they don't have that triangle or that rectangular or square shape. But they still have 4 sides, so they still count. Okay? Now we're going on to our 5-sided shapes. Now, this one, there's only a few. So I hope you were able to find it. Some of you might have seen these shapes before, some of you might not, but that's okay. So we only have 2 shapes. I only have 5 sides. And as you can see, we have 2 more shapes up here, all alone and lonely, but they are our 6-sided shapes. Those are called hexagons. Now, we're not going to get all into that, but that is the name of that shape. It is a shape that has 6 sides. All right, outstanding. Now, before we move on, I have a short little video that I would like to show you and share with you. It is a story called The Greedy Triangle. Now, we thought that it would be a cute little book for you to listen to. So go ahead and take this time and listen to our story. Give me one moment. make this full screen. All right.
The Greedy Triangle, written by Marilyn Burns, illustrated by Gordon Silveria.
One moment, folks. I apologize. I just want to make sure that we have all of our sound settings perfectly set so you can hear our story. All right, look like we are good to go.
Once there was a triangle that was, as most triangles are, always busy. The triangle spent its time holding up roofs, supporting bridges, making music in a symphony orchestra, catching the wind for sailboats, being slices of pie and halves of sandwiches, and much, much more. The triangle's favorite thing, however, was to slip into place when people put their hands on their hips. That way, I always hear the latest news, it said, which I can tell my friends. The triangle's friends liked hearing the news. One day, the triangle began to feel dissatisfied. I'm tired of doing the same old things, it grumbled. There must be more to life. The triangle went to see the local shapeshifter. How may I help you? The shapeshifter asked the triangle. I think if I just had one more side and one more angle, said the triangle, my life would be more interesting. That's easy to do, said the shapeshifter. Poof! The shapeshifter turned the triangle into a quadrilateral. Life changed in a wonderful way. The quadrilateral was happy with all the new things it could do. The quadrilateral could be a baseball diamond, or first, second, or third base. It could take a position on a checkerboard or a chessboard. It could be a television screen, a computer screen, or a movie screen. It could frame windows or picture frames, and much, much more. The quadrilateral's favorite thing, however, was to be the pages of a book. I can learn so many interesting stories that way, it said, which I can tell my friends. The quadrilateral's friends liked hearing the stories. But one day, the quadrilateral began to feel dissatisfied. I'm tired of doing the same old things, it grumbled. There must be more to life. So the quadrilateral went back to the shapeshifter. How may I help you now? The shapeshifter asked the quadrilateral. I think if I just had one more side and one more angle, said the quadrilateral, my life would be more interesting. That's easy to do, said the shapeshifter. Poof! The shapeshifter turned the quadrilateral into a pentagon. Life changed in a wonderful way. The pentagon was happy with all the new things it could do. On a baseball diamond, the pentagon could be home plate. It could be a section of a soccer ball, or appear inside whenever someone drew a five-pointed star. The Pentagon's favorite thing, however, was to be the headquarters of the United States military near Washington, D.C. I hear all the top secrets that way, it said. It's too bad I can't tell them to my friends. The Pentagon's friends couldn't help feeling left out. After a while, time seemed to pass slowly for the Pentagon, and it became dissatisfied. I'm tired of doing the same old things, it grumbled. There must be more to life. So the Pentagon went back to the shapeshifter. So, you're here again, the shapeshifter said to the My life would be more interesting. That's easy to do, said the shapeshifter. Poof! The shapeshifter turned the pentagon into a hexagon. Life changed again in a wonderful way. The hexagon was happy with all the new things it could do. The hexagon fit in as floor tiles in houses and patios, and fancy crackers at parties and picnics. It worked as the socket of certain bolts and the prongs of certain wrenches. The hexagon's favorite thing, however, was to be a cell in a beehive. I love watching the bees as they buzz in and out, it said. The hexagon spent so much time in the beehive, it was too busy to talk to its friends. The friends missed the hexagon and couldn't help feeling ignored. Again and again, the shape became restless, dissatisfied, and unhappy with its life. Again and again, it returned to the shapeshifter for more sides and more angles. The shapeshifter agreed to turn it into one shape after another. A heptagon, octagon, a nonagon, a decagon, and on and on. Finally, the shape had many, many sides and many, many angles. Its sides were so small that it had trouble keeping its balance. Its friends couldn't tell which side it was on and began to avoid the shape. One day, when the shape was going down a hill, it began to roll. Faster and faster it went, screeching around corners, crashing into fences and trees, colliding with bicycles and terrifying walkers. At last, the shape came to a stop. It felt tired and dizzy, lonely and sad. Enough, thought the shape. I don't know which side is up. I can't keep my balance. My friends don't want me around. The shape could no longer remember why it had been so unhappy as a triangle. Very carefully, it made its way back to the shapeshifter. Aren't you happy yet? The shapeshifter asked. I want to be a triangle again, said the shape. I'm not surprised, said the shapeshifter. Poof! The shapeshifter turned the shape back into a triangle. The triangle was delighted to have its old shape back again and kept itself very busy. Once again, it held up roofs, supported bridges, made music in a symphony orchestra, caught the wind for sailboats, became sliced up pie and hazard sandwiches, and much, much more. Still, the triangle's favorite thing was to slip into place when people put their hands on their hips. That way, I always hear the latest news, it said, which I can tell my friends. Its friends liked hearing the news and were glad the triangle was back in shape again.
All right. I hope everyone enjoyed that video. All right. We are back to our video here. Now, I really hope everyone enjoyed the book. I thought it was a great book and had a lot of great lessons in it. It also has a lot of the shapes that we've already talked about, like the hexagon, the pentagon, squares and rectangles, and even triangles. But some of the others we're not going to talk about because we're not quite there yet. But moving on, we want to challenge you and make you think a little bit beyond just normal math. So up here we have answers. Now, usually you get the question first, but this time this is supposed to challenge your brain a little bit. So we have, what is the question? So what I'm going to model, and I'm going to show it up here on the screen, is how we can come up with a question that goes with each of these answers. Now, we have for letter A, it says the answer is 2. What is the question? So what we want you to do is read each of the answers below and then draw a picture or use your own words to explain the problem. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do letter A. Okay, so I'm going to slide on over here. So the question that I came up with is, what is 25 minus 23? And what I came up with was, okay, sorry, there's a minor technical difficulty there. So I'm going to show you what and why I chose 25 minus 23. Now, before we left school, we've been working a lot with 2-digit plus and minus 2-digit numbers. So I decided to go with a smaller, but still workable 2-digit minus 2-digit problem. So I did 25 minus 23 because we know that if we go ahead and take off our 10s, our 20 here and our 20 here, that has left us with 5 minus 3. Now, we all know what 5 minus 3 is. 5, we take 3 away, we've got 2 left. But I'm going to show you with my model how I came up with this. So up here, I hope you're able to see it. I have 25 little circles. Now I have 10 here together in a 10 frame fashion. I have 10 here, which gives us 20, and another 10 frame fashion. Then I have 5 lined up down here. Now, how am I going to show 25 minus 23? Well, I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to get rid of 23 of those circles. Now, you can cross them out. You can color them in and color them each a different, or color the 23 a different color. However you find best that works for you, you can go ahead and work with that. If you have manipulatives at home, that'd be even better yet, that you can be able to work with those. So I'm going to go ahead and show you 25 minus 23 up here. So as you see, 23 of my circles have gone away. I'm left with 2 little circles left, which is our answer here. So I came up with some other problems that would also work. So problems like 30 minus 28. What is 49 minus 47? What is 17 minus 15? And what is 4 minus 2? I even threw in a real simple one for y'all. Now, these are just some examples that I come up with showing ranges in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 10s, and 1s. So that gives you an idea of what your problems can look like. And all of these questions will give you the same answer of 2. Okay? So what I want you to do, now it's your turn. I want to see what questions you can come up with for, I put numbers 2 and 3. I'm going to put letters B and C. But we have letter B, which the answer is 5, and letter C, the answer is 10. Now, you can look at the examples that I gave for the answers 2, and you can look at some of the problems that I created, and you can kind of change those and modify those to help you for B and C. But we want to see what you're able to come up with on your own. Now, the last piece of our lesson today is balanced equations. Now, we talked about this a little bit here in the past, or the last month or so that we were together at school. But what we want you to do is using the digits 1 to 9, so you can use any number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, but not 10. So 1 through 9, you use any of those numbers. What I want you to do is I want you to create a balanced equation, which means that the problems that you create here will equal the problem that you create here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put up the problem that I decided to come up with, and that problem is 4 plus 2. Now, 4 plus 2 is real simple. And just because we're working with 1-digit and 1-digit numbers, it's going to be a little bit easier for you. But what you need to do is when you come up with your first two numbers, you have to think and add them together to see if we're able to create a subtraction problem that still falls within the digits of 1 to 9. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add these together. 4 plus 2 equals 6. Now I'm going to show my answer in a little bit, but I'm going to think 6. Okay. Well, what numbers can I subtract together that will give me 6? Now, I can go 7 minus 1. I could do 8 minus 2, or I could do 9 minus 3. Now, my 9 minus 3 is the one I decided to go with. Now, you can use any of the other two that I had come up with as well, but it still works because if you go ahead and look, I went and put our answers up here. So 4 plus 2 gives us 6. You can use your fingers to figure it out. You can use manipulatives, like I said, if you got them at home. Even if you have some dry foods, you can use those like beans or things like that, or even candy. Candy is always a good one. And you can figure out how to create this problem, okay? So I have 4 plus 2 gives us 6. And then I also solve my subtraction problem. 9 minus 3 gives us 6. Because if I hold up 9 fingers, I take away 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm left with 6. Now if I have 4, I add 2, 1, 2, still left with 6. So I went back and I checked to make sure that my numbers add up. Another way you can check your subtraction, if you take your answer and add it to your lowest number, it should equal your other number in the problem. We also talked a little bit about that as well. So what I would like you to do is see what combinations you can come up with. Now, if you come up with 1, great. If you come up with 10, that is outstanding. We want to see what you're able to come up with. Now, this is supposed to work your brain a little bit, so I want you to give it a good working try and see what you're able to come up with. Okay, make sure you work on those questions and the combinations that we talked about today. The questions B and C from earlier in the video and the combinations we just talked about. We will be able to, or will be available, sorry, for any questions and concerns that you have during our office hours, which you'll learn about in just a couple days. Each of us in the second grade team, Miss Lang, Miss Bermudez, Miss Purvis, Miss Merle, myself, even Mr. Walker, we are all going to be available at different times throughout the day to be able to look over the work that you were able to do this week and also answer any questions, any concerns, anything that confuses you or you just can't quite make out, and we'll be able to help you through that. I hope you guys enjoyed today's lesson. I hope you are staying safe, and I hope you're enjoying your time off. Can't wait to see you next week. Bye, y'all.